how I understand things. So even though, holy crap, now I know what it's going to take to get there. It's going to be a lot to even get there. But it's now I know what steps to take to get there. I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know,
understanding what you're stepping into. It's so different. It really is. We have to. You're right. Knowledge is power, because there's so many ways. There's too many people pulling in this. Say you have really good songs, you know. If you don't have the money for a lawyer or a manager or somebody, you can get burned real bad, you know. So it's like knowledge is power, because not only do you have more focus where you're going, but you also can protect yourself. You know, I mean, and that's something not a lot of people talk about, but having a lawyer is huge. I've had to have him send contracts on my behalf and cease and desist on my behalf, because I don't know, like the legal side of music is like, whoa, you know. So also educating yourself on that stuff. You're right. Your copywriting, your royalties, how that all works, publishing. That's what kind of we're saying is like knowledge is power. Like learn everything you can. You know, not master. You don't master everything. Just learn a little bit about everything.
Yeah, dip your toes into every part of the industry, so that when you are handing those roles off to someone else, you're able to know what they're doing. So that, you know, I'm a believer in no one's gonna work harder for you than you are. No one's gonna just pick you up and fly you off into the heaven. You gotta already be working yourself, and then you can hand the roles off and then manage them and say, okay, you got this. I'm making sure that I understand what you're doing and that we're working together. But I mean, the get quick rich scheme of like just thinking that people are gonna swat. And I honestly, I was a, you know, not a victim to that, but I kind of had that mentality of like, I hope that someone will just come in and really, really help me and help me sweep. But now I'm so grateful that that didn't happen, because I feel so much more empowered now that I truly understand stuff, and that I truly can, like, when I do hand it off to someone, it'll feel more authentic, and it'll feel more trustworthy, you know.
You have to. I was happy about that too. I was in the electronic industry, and we were really blowing up when I was like 17 or 18, right? And I started to just get exposed to like clubs and stuff, drinking. And I'm like, thank God I up and went to LA, because if I didn't, like, and we blew up, like, I can't imagine what 17-year-old me would have done. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God, like all the experiences we go through, like on the way, or like escape us. And like you said, when you met Ariana Grande, she next to you, and it's like, oh, you're a person, you're humble. Like, you have to be ready for that, because if you get swept away too young, or when you're not ready, you want to be the most authentic you when that happens, and smart, and like a business, you have to know like the inventory, you have to know how much money's coming in and out. You know what I'm saying?
He's jealous, I think, of our Schemo. That's my buddy Sky.
Yeah. Jealous the beard.
Come on, buddy. It's all about the face cream.
Going.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, you're so right. It's like there are people that luck out with getting contracts very young, and it does support, like, record labels have that team that you can never really reach that kind of promotion or marketing without that money behind you. Like, money is the fuel to the company, to the music company. However, then they own your copyrights. Like, I'm not interested in, I don't want to sign away my copyrights. That's the most valuable asset in the music industry. I don't want to write a song, put my heart and soul into something, and then just hand it over to the company just because they're going to promote it for me. I'd rather take the long haul and figure out how to do it myself. So then I can have a partnership down the road. I'd rather have a partnership with a record label where it's like, let's work 100%. Together. My company, Outward Original, and your guys' company can work together 100%. To promote. That's my 100%.
Building your own community is everything. You want to build your own community, because at the end of the day, that's what a record label has. They have a network and a community. If you could build that on your own, you could partner with, you could stand next to these bigger companies and these bigger labels. And coming back to like a lawyer or the legal side of it, like, you have to understand what you're entitled to, like on the back end, right? Like you give away your copyright, you give away your percentage of the master. If you're a producer, what's your producer fee? How much of the percentage do you take? Like there's so much stuff to get into, and learning all that. I want to also, now we're kind of getting into business stuff. I want to hear about your company. Like I know you have Outward Original, so I want to hear about that.
Yeah, man. So that basically just stemmed out of from Berkeley, learning how important it is to be able to manage your own copyrights and to be able to manage your own at-home business. Like if you are writing songs, you are the publisher. You are the you are the record label. You know, until you get signed or until you sign that off to someone else, you need to understand it, or else you're leaving money on the table and you're leaving opportunities on the table. So. For me, it really came down to, okay, well, crap, I can be a businessman. I can be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start my own company, you know? And so I got the trademark, and I'm a sole proprietorship currently, and you know, I've got my family helping me out. But basically my goal, my purpose with this company is to create artistic media that will uplift and inspire people. Like I just want to connect people through understanding and love, and I know that I have experience in on camera acting, on stage, music, and I'm going to use those talents to try to just produce work that will connect people and that will promote love and unity instead of divisiveness. And like a lot of the media that I see nowadays coming out of these entertainment companies is just all about materialism and all about flashy this, flashy that. And so if I have my own entertainment company, I can decide what I want to make and what I want to produce, and I can own it, and it's mine. I don't need to sign it. So that's basically the long-term goal of this company, is to grow it into a sizable company that I can help other artists, help manage other artists. I'm at the point right now where I'm just still myself, you know, trying to figure out how to manage myself, you know. But it'll come with time. It's just, I'm happy that I built the foundation of having the Outward Original, because I have something to grow into, and I have so many talented friends that I can work with and write with and produce with. And so that's basically how that stemmed out of. It was just the need to control my own stuff. You know,
talk music on media, right?
Exactly. Yes, we're an entertainment company where we have records, so there's Outward Original Records, but then there's also publishing side of things to get syncs, to get, you know, my music on TV shows and films. But then there's also, I want to do short films, like some topical. I've had these really cool ideas of like tying in short films with the songs that I'm releasing. So like, or you know, like, and stuff like that, like cool stuff like that. And doing like linking in some of my other actor friends in the community and putting together a podcast, you know, or putting together, you know, there's so many options. So that's why I started the company, is just to.
It's an extension of you. It's an extension of you and your past and your network. That's what it's all about. And it's scary to go into that, right? So like, you had to just say, you know what, I'm going to start this no matter what. I want to do it. You know, it's not like, it's scary, of course, starting a business. It's a scary word, right? But, you learn, right? Learning is just constant learning and maintenance, and that's very cool. I wanted to.
That's very cool. Take the leap, and then trust that you will learn on the way and become a stronger businessman and a stronger person and an artist as you go. It's like, I don't want to wait for someone to tell me how to do it. I just need to start. And then learn on the way. That's kind of what I've been doing lately. It's just,
I don't even look at them as a learning experience. Like if I mess up, hey, I learned. At least I learned. I'm not going to do that again. Keep going. You know, so it's like on that path that you're talking about, it's like there's really no mistake, right? It's like, I'm in this to learn, so we can't just learn everything that goes right, you know? Like, so,
fail as quickly as possible. Just keep, like, that's what my late and great friend Nick Cordero, he would always tell me, he's like, man, you're so young and you're starting early. You should just fail as quickly and as persistently as possible, so that you can get those failures under your belt. It's like, failure is not something to be afraid of. It's something to gain thick skin about. You know, the more you fail, the more you learn, and then the more you're like, able to step forward and not be afraid of failure. It's same thing with audition. It's a mindset. Same thing with auditioning. Like when young actors ask me, they're like, "How do I get over the fear of auditioning?" I'm like, just audition. Just keep auditioning. The more you do it, you got to put those 10,000 hours in. The more you audition, the more you don't fear it, and then the rejection doesn't matter anymore. It's more about I'm going to be myself and be authentic. I'm not afraid of what the cast.
You were on 911 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Talking about that too, it's like that self-esteem and that mindset. Like as a musician too, that got submitted to record labels and got to know. It's like, okay, those are a part of the process, and I'm sure you've had auditions where you think that callbacks is something big like that. So it's like, do you have any advice for other, people in theater or actresses that don't get a callback? Like, how can they dig in and kind of keep going through that?
Yeah, well, it's like everyone focuses on the wins. So yeah, like when people ask me, "Hey, you were on 911. That's super cool." Like, wow. And to them it seems like, "Oh, this guy really just lucked out. He walked it." But I have been to thousands of auditions where I want that role. I practice for a week.
Yep.
I go in there and nothing, just falls flat. But what you got to do is you got to be able to realize that it's not you. It's just this is a business. That project was not right for you. That has nothing to do with your inherent quality or your inherent talent as an actor or as an artist. It's more just this wasn't the right fit. So what are you going to do the next time? You're going to work just as hard, if not harder, and go in there and give it your best shot. And then sometimes it lands. And the more that it lands, then that momentum starts rolling. And next thing you know, you're getting bigger and bigger projects. That's the cool thing about it. It's kind of this exponential curve of like, at the start, you're like, "Oh, it's never going to work. It's never." And the more you book, the more you get. It's an interesting process. I mean, with Rock of Ages, I had done Rock of Ages on Norwegian Cruise Lines, and so I had a 6-month gig doing the same role that I ended up doing here in Hollywood, but it was on a cruise ship, and I was over in the Bahamas, and I was learning that role. I was getting like the 10,000 hours of experience under my belt. And when I went into the audition here in Hollywood, and I could tell that role felt natural to me. And they were like, "Oh, you did it on Norwegian Cruise Lines." And me having that experience from before helped me end up booking the gig here. So it's a process, it's not a quick fix. There's no silver bullet really, or magic bullet to one trick fix.
I remember I went on a Norwegian Cruise Line too. Their theater is incredible. Their theater stuff, oh my God, I remember. They do a good job of taking their thing.
They do. It's Broadway quality.
Yeah.
It's Broadway quality, man. It's really like.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Nick, so he's huge in the theater, Broadway community, and COVID and everything. I know that he was Dennis, right, in Rock of Ages. I'm sure it devastated the Broadway community. I just want to know, like, how did it impact you and that community? It's hard, the pandemic, and like, does it make you stronger? Do you have any like really great memories of them?
Oh, so many good memories, man. I mean, it was so devastating to our cast, and the amazing thing is that we only knew Nick for probably 6 to 8 months, and he left that lasting impact on me and on our cast. Like, he was such a strong force, even if you didn't know about him being a Tony-nominated actor and a Broadway star and all of that stuff. Even if you just met him on the street, he would leave a lasting impression of being a strong force as a person, and I think that's what really rang in my mind. Him was he kind of took me under his wing, and he was like a big brother, father figure, mentor, honestly. Like he would tell me after the show, he's like, "Listen, when you're up on stage, you're not doing it for the audience, all right? They're here for you. They want to see you live this life. They don't want you to impress them. They want to watch you live that life." And that was so spot on. Those are the kinds of tips that you get from someone who's had that amount of experience and that kind of time and that kind of talent. It was such a blessing to get to work with him, and just the fact that he's gone, that the fact that he passed away, and just everything that happened to him is just so unfair and just heartbreaking, honestly, because he's just such a good guy, man, and so full of life too. He had so much more to give, and I don't think I'll ever really quite understand like why that happened to him. It'll always be sort of just a messed up part of my life, and Amanda's life, and just like I just can't even imagine. It was amazing to see how the community came together over like
that's what I saw. Yeah,
I kind of that support. Like we can. I think people can only hope that when they pass, that they can have that kind of recognition and support. So we all are gonna go. We're all gonna pass away eventually, and I think that for him it was too soon, but at least he burned out brightly, and I'm just blessed to have stage with him in his last show.
Yeah. He left you with a very good sort of what am I looking for? He left you with a very good path to follow. I want to do exactly. I want to follow his footsteps. So,
big shoes to fill, like big shoes to fill. As far as just not even just career wise, but more just the way that you hold yourself. Like he left me with this mentorship of how to act, just how to be a professional that people look up to. It's because I've been doing this for a long time, and this is a people's business. It really is. And Nick understood that, and he loved people, and he left an impact. He left a truly great impact on a lot of people.
He did. We talked a lot about. I had a couple podcasts, a couple of lives on here, and the word mentor comes up in every single one of them. And I think if you're getting into music or anything music related, having a mentor, somebody that has more experience, is like the best thing. I have more than one of them, and just to be able to be a student and just learn, from experience. The more I try to say I got it, and I mess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A mentor is huge, especially when you're coming up. It's really huge. It comes up in
someone that's in you that
you need that.
Level, like he was at a level that I aspired to be, and yet he made me feel like I could do it, and that he believed in me. And that's such an important part of having a mentor. It's like you want someone that shows you, hey, we're all human, man. You get to this level, you get to a level of success by putting in the time, by doing it step by step. It's not a quick jump. So that's why a mentor is important. It's like, because they show you, they lead by example. It's almost like if he can do it, and he's not there, then I want to do that. I want to be where he's at. I'm going to follow in his footsteps.
It's important to get that. It's important to get that realistic mindset in you, because like I moved to LA thinking, okay, like I'm gonna make 3 songs and blow up and blah blah blah. Nah, man, I fell flat on my face in LA, which I'm thankful for it. It's like, whoa, like, that taught me so much, and I found my mentors, and it shaped me. It's so important. I love how it comes up in every interview. We're still in this pandemic, right? So it affects me in my music career, my clients, my studio clients, everything. Has it really taken a dent on you at all?
It has just from like losing the show Rock of Ages really, really hurt, man. That hit home, because we had worked so hard on that. We had spent months rehearsing and getting excited for it, and doing press and publicity and getting the crowd excited and building a fan base. Like we had a really good thing going, like we had dedicated fans that really enjoyed being there, and people were coming back, and we got good reviews. So like having that swept up really left me like in a funk for a while. I was just kind of in a kind of a depressed place for a while, and then with Nick passing, there was a lot of blows that really hurt, and I've just had to turn to a lot. By writing a lot. I've been writing, and just that is something that I'll always have. I'll always have my guitar, my voice, and my notepad. And it's like, if I can turn back to that, that's what kind of keeps me grounded, and that's what keeps me.
Yeah.
It keeps me feeling like they're not falling apart. And there's obviously times when you get negative. There's times when you feel like, things might not work out. But I've always been the person that has to stay positive and look forward. And so this time has tested my ability to be positive, and I think it's going to make us stronger. We're going to come out of this realizing what's important to us and realizing what we want to do, and not waste time. I don't want to waste time. I want to do what I'm here to do.
Absolutely.
So
there's that one artist I like. He paints all over LA called Wordsmith. I don't know if you had that when. It was a quote. He said, "When the dust settles, we'll all know who we want to be, who we love." Like, it was the most beautiful thing. I saw one of my friends in LA take a picture of it. Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's tough times, and I hope we're coming out of it. And you got hit with some heavy blows, but you're right. It sounds like it's shaping you for success in a way. We can learn and we can grow and not stay stuck. The hardest thing as an artist, I feel like, to step out of that depressive patterns we fall into.
Yeah. And as artists, Well, and as artists,
same.
Feel a lot. We're always reflecting and trying to make sense of things. And it's important sometimes just to release and let go. And just, this is what it is. What do I have to control? What can I actually control? And honestly, for me, it's like, like I said, my guitar, my voice, it's like those are things that are tangible. Those are things that I can control. And positive mindset too. It's like, I gotta stop trying to worry about things that I can't really control. Like losing the show, it was terrible. I could sit depressed about that, or I could turn it around and say, "We'll be back. I'm gonna prepare. I'm gonna get physically fit, mentally fit, and I'm gonna prepare myself. We're back, and we're ready to come back together. Come back together." But you're right, man. Being hit by blows is no one knows how hard it's gonna hurt until it's there, and then all you can do is either let it down or turn it around and make it a part of your journey. Like, I think I'll look back on this, and I hope that Amanda and Elvis will look back on this and feel that Nick is watching over them and saying, "You guys made it. You guys got through the journey, and now you're stronger and you're tiered."
Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. Have you read that? Have you seen that diagram?
The Hero's Journey.
Yeah. That's everything.
Yeah. Is that Joseph?
Yeah.
Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell. Or is that?
So that's I looked at that too when I was in school. My teacher showed me that, and it's like it doesn't just apply to the music industry. It applies to, if we look at a lot of successful people, there's always that story of resilience behind them, right? At some point, and at multiple points, you have to be able to pick yourself up, no matter how heavy it all is. And it's harder for us as artists, like you're saying, because we're kind of taught to listen to what's in our head, right? Our ideas and stuff. And sometimes that's not the best place to listen to, especially when those blows come. So building resilience, I think, is a very important tool in a DIY industry, in anything. I think it's super important because those falls are going to.
I love that. I love that hero's journey because it's like it makes you feel like your struggles are actually a part of a bigger cause. It's sometimes you get wrapped up in, why is this happening to me? Why is it happening to me? But when you think of yourself as the hero's journey, it's like, this is happening to me to make me stronger, and this is happening to me. Everyone's going to have to go through obstacles. You can either escape that, you can run from that, whether it be through TV or social media or drugs or alcohol. You can try to escape the brutal facts, but if you dig deep and you face the brutal facts with a sober mindset and with a mentality of, I'm not going to run from them, I'm going to take them head on like a warrior. And that's when you become the hero.
Absolutely. that's what great artists do. They ride into the storm a little bit, you know. You can't be afraid of it. So that's where a lot of beautiful art comes from.
I agree. And helping others find that, like sharing, helping others get that strength and that courage. That's music has done that for me. When I listen to a Led Zeppelin record, or when I listen to something like a Beatles record, that's something that's bigger than your life. That's what it makes me feel. It makes me feel like we're a part of something bigger than ourselves.
We are.
Yeah. That's the kind of music I want to make. I want to make some music that wakes people up to how special and connected we really are. You know, it's like
you're already doing it. It's awesome, man. We got some more minutes. I want to talk about what you have coming up. You obviously mentioned you have a couple songs up, and I really want to listen to that one, Dying City, because I lived in LA and I saw exactly what you're talking about. So, yeah, what else you got coming up?
Yeah, so I've got a music video coming out for True Love. It's been a long time coming, but you know, with everything that happened in the world, it didn't feel like the right time to post stuff like self-promotion kind of stuff. And so, but I will be releasing the True Love music video just to have people have a visual to connect to the song and to have something entertaining for people to tune into, you know. And then City's Dying is going to be a song I'm releasing. I also have a couple of shows lined up in Vegas, which I'm super excited about. There's a place called the Vegas Room, and they've just opened this year. It's kind of a restaurant, cabaret, bar setup, and they're doing social distancing, so at 50% capacity. And I've got 4 dates. I've got 4 dates set up in the next month in August. Two dates in August and 2 dates in September. August 7th and 8th, and September 12th and 13th. So I'm going to be playing there live. I'll be playing new original songs. I'll be playing some cover songs. So you can get your tickets on Eventbrite. You type in Ian Ward in Vegas on Eventbrite. You can find tickets to those shows. And I'll also be live streaming those performances on stage as well. So those upcoming shows. I'm actually going to do a show in La Jolla, in my hometown too, in my neighborhood, just out front on someone's yard. I'm going to be out front on the yard, and some of the neighbors are going to come out and bring beach chairs. I'm just going to try to cheer up some of the neighborhood, you know, and play some tunes.
The world needs that right now.
Sorry.
The world needs that right now. All that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we need artists. We need less divisiveness and more unity.
I'm with you.
It's really what we need.
What we need. Awesome talk, man. So glad to meet you. You have an incredible story, an incredible journey. Keep trucking on, man. And thanks for inspiring everyone, man. That was an awesome chat. We'll post it. We'll tag you. Anything you want us to tag. Thanks, man. Really, really great chat.
Well, thanks, Matt. Thanks so much for your questions and for your insight. And for having me on, man. I really appreciate chatting with you.
I will see you. We'll talk. I'm going to shoot you an email with the link and everything. We'll talk after.
Yeah, message in a couple days. Let's stay in touch, bro.
Sweet, brother. Sounds good. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. I know there were some questions. We kind of answered them as we went along. So thanks to everyone for commenting questions on our facial hair, all that stuff. So we will, yeah, right. I will see you guys next Thursday. Right. Take it easy.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.